Happy Saturday, YouTube. Happy Saturday, everyone. And we have now a topic to do with, I don't know how to phrase this. Who should be president of Europe? Stalin or John Major? Well, that's who they look like, so I'm looking at their photo. That's how I'm going to judge it, actually, is the one who looks like Stalin and the one who looks like John Major. But it's possible that some people may have opinions that go beyond that, and I'll say, well, going in the order of the people I can see... Oh, no, wait, no, I apologise. Because it's Saturday, we have a special rule, and we begin... Fratis, could you introduce this topic, please?
So, as the European Union is changing over the last couple of years, this time, for the first time within the history of the European Union, people will indirectly be allowed to vote for the European Commission President, which is one of the three institutes that leads the European Union. So we will be indirectly voting for two of the three institutions, which will be a real change from where it was till now. For this first presidential election, we've had two very old, very long-time Brussels politicians, which is Juncker, who used to be president of Luxembourg, and Mr. Schulz, who is a German politician, running against each other. I think most people have not heard of either, which is kind of sad in the presidential election, where people were hoping it to become something like the U.S. elections, not like something like we've got.
So people have been focusing too heavily on their own countries.
Basically, the whole idea behind these rule changes was to re-engage it on a European level instead of making about national politics every time, which has kind of failed. But I guess in a way, these two people represent two different thoughts of Europe, and we will indirectly be voting for them. The question really is does anyone even know about them? And I'd really like to hear what people think about this. Do you know about the presidents? Did you know about the election of the presidents? If yes, how have you found the campaign? Has it even been representative of anything? Back to Alex, who knows who comes first.
Well, I know about this because you linked it. That's my knowledge. I've seen one of them is definitely the reincarnation of Stalin. One of them is definitely the the reincarnation of John Major,
who's still alive.
Yes, well, the thing is, John Major is the type of Tory, it's kind of like Terminator 2. You can just cut bits off, they'll grow. It does.
Okay.
To be honest, well, why is it that I feel myself inclined towards the one who looks like Stalin?
Because Stalin has an ace mustache, or had, rather.
Exactly. You got to go for the facial hair, people. That's how you vote.
It's well brill.
Fratis, the order in which I can see people is Gunderson, Fratis, Queenie, and Koki. Shall we begin with Gunderson?
Go ahead.
I know next to jack shit about this, to be honest. I only even know about it because Fratis brought it up today. But, so yeah, it's something I'm going to have to read up on in the just under a week to come before the election.
So you hadn't heard about this, the commission presidential elections at all?
Hell no.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So, I really don't have much of an opinion.
This isn't a thing in the UK because the UK is geared to a good versus evil battle about UKIP, which is it's unfortunate, but it's been necessitated. And a European president is a fascinating idea, but I don't know who these geezers are. I suppose they're two white men, and I'm going to guess are cisgendered and straight. So
they check their privilege.
Go fig. Yeah, that's a go and check privilege. And this ties in with what we were saying earlier, because in a way it would kind of make sense. But well, you said yourself, people don't know what they're voting for, which is. But the thing is, this is a very complicated. Europe is a very complicated machine that barely holds together. And for most people, it's incomprehensible. So
yeah, because unlike in America, you don't have one country that all speaks the same language and has. Well, there are cultural differences between different parts of America, but for all intents and purposes, it's basically one culture compared to several cultures all trying to coordinate with each other. So it doesn't work nearly as smoothly as America does with its presidential election. Plus, it's an entirely different. It's indirectly voted for in this case, the president. So it's no wonder why so few people actually know about this. Because I guess I'm just so used to focusing on British politics that I don't often look at the bigger picture with these things, which is admittedly a mistake on my part.
And mine too. But of course, the thing is, like with AV, which we discussed yesterday. You're offering people a vote on something that the average person has no knowledge of, doesn't understand. And to be honest, one of the reasons that you get hostility towards European politics is people just don't get it.
But I thought that would actually help, to be honest. When I heard of this changing rule and the idea behind it, I thought it would help. Having one figurehead, one guy who represents Europe, a face to a faceless organization. One guy to stand up there and give a speech and say, "Look, I'm the president of the commission. This is who I am. This is my name. This is the policy I'm going to pursue."
I can see the plus to that, but the minus is that by this point, I'm going to look at some political leader, yada yada, and I'm just going to assume he's a cunt. Which admittedly is true of anybody. Literally. It doesn't matter if you're... So those two men might be lovely, but they're politicians, so my brain is automatically saying that they are the biggest cunts in Europe.
I'll give you a major or a couple of major differences between the two. The EPP, who supports Jean-Claude Juncker, who is, by the way, former Prime Minister of Luxembourg, he has the view that he has been the president for the last, well, not he himself has been the president, but he's worked deeply within the European Union for the last, since 2005, 2006 somewhere, and has been around for a while. He has the idea of, he dragged back the bloc from the collapse when we nearly collapsed after the financial crash in 2008. But he's also very pro austerity, which a lot of people don't
Big
like.
problem.
Yeah, big problem for a lot of people. Alienates a lot of voters. On the other side, you have Martin Schulz, who's a German politician, who has been president of the parliament for a couple of years, now is running for president of the commission. He's very much a democratic person. He likes a lot of democracy and he's been trying to power up the parliament, which he's been very successful over the last couple of years. He's one of the people who actually pushed these rule changes, actually giving the parliament some power and letting people vote more, which is, I personally find very positive, helping Europe get into democracy. On the other end, he has the problems of being very strongly in favor of deep immigration, which make him somewhat unpopular, especially in Great Britain.
Okay. Queenie, what threats do you think a president of Europe would pose to your evil, homosexual, Muslim, communist president? And who would win in a fight?
Well, what's the capacity of the European president? What will his position entail? What will his job be?
Being evil.
Well, in that case, they're just going to have to go fisticuffs with it, because there's no telling.
And, Koki, your perspective on this?
I'm just thinking about Prime Sinister as an elected office now. Because you're talking about, like, these evil presidents. I think it's rather tragic that, a position as important as this, the information's not being put out to the common person. Granted, this whole process is pretty new, and, it's indirect. The United States has an electoral college, but I suppose it's still not quite the same. But, it seems as though there's still quite a bit of work to go. I guess that's really all I can say on the matter, in terms of European unity. There's still a long road ahead.
So just to answer one of Queenie's questions, he's basically the head of government for the European Union. The European Commission is basically the institution of the European Union that gets to propose laws, and he's the head of that and gets to decide in which direction that body goes.
So it's just going to be a capacity like the President of the United States does?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
He's basically the guy who gets to decide in what direction the European Union heads, and that's why it's so important, personally, I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling you there on how I can see how people wish it was more like an American election.
I don't, because the Electoral College is shit.
Your mom's shit. No, I'm just kidding.
I agree.
I'm sorry, that was terrible.
The thing is, if you do any research, both of these guys, Lenin and John Major...
I thought it was Stalin.
Sorry, Stalin, I apologize. Oh no, I did mean Lenin, sorry. Wow. No, he's got the beard. He looks like Lenin. Lenin and Major, if you look into their backgrounds, they were both born in Hawaii. They are both homosexual Muslim communists.
And they're both black.
And they're both black, exactly! You can't trust these people. Alright, in all seriousness, there's always going to be a balance of do you need leadership or where is leadership dangerous. Now, I don't know about these two people, but I'm naturally cynical. At the same time, though, I'll be very honest here. Speaking as a British citizen who is scared, I'm scared of this government. I'm scared of the future. I'm scared of the direction that things are going in. I'll be even more honest. The way things are going, I've actually contemplated suicide because of the way things are going. And I'm not alone. I might actually trust somebody in charge of Europe more. So I guess I'm gonna have to open up the floor on this, and well, I'll start with Gunderson.
About what? Because I joined a bit late.
I suppose what I was talking about was literally looking at this government and what it's doing. Looking at the situation and how it is. And there really wouldn't be anything worse.
I don't agree. I think many things could be far worse.
Well, UKIP would be worse, but potentially we could have a Tory UKIP coalition, so it's a meaningless description. The way people are being treated, the kinds of policies that child protective services could be privatized. No, I don't think you can get much worse than that.
I agree that it's pretty bad, but I mean, in some ways, yes, we are getting worse. Also, there's a lot of echo of someone.
That might be me, I don't know, hang on. Just talk, I'll mute myself.
Hello? Yep, it's gone now. Okay, no, you said you mute yourself. Yeah, okay, I mean, in some ways, yes, things are getting worse. Especially with, like, as austerity sets in more and more. But I mean, you know, like, I guess I'm thinking in other ways, like, you know, violent crime is on an all-time low, you know, things are generally getting better with LGBT rights and gender equality and stuff like that. So, I mean, I try to look at things overall. So, I don't know, I mean, yes, austerity is a big problem, but I do think, I don't know, I would say generally, not just in the UK, but all over the place, life's, things are generally getting better in most respects. Do you get what I mean?
Okay, how much of that do you think is down to condemn?
Very little, but I think, I agree mostly what they're doing is bad. These are more, unstoppable forces of social change, really, more than anything.
Right, okay, Fratis?
I think having a figurehead for Europe will help people understand Europe better and also give us something we can stand behind or against. I don't know if it will work well. I think we're still having some teething problems. Like with basically this being our first presidential election, we're still having some problems with the teething of this said election. And that will get better as we go along. But I think in general it's a good idea to have someone to stand behind. And also to have someone, you know, I hope in the future the presidential elections will become somewhat akin to American presidential elections, where you have two people basically throwing ideas at each other, you know, like saying, I would like to, I don't know, build more roads or something, I don't know. I don't know what you would usually do, like, you'd go, I want to build some roads, or I would like to spend more money on schools, or I'd like to push austerity harder or something, and have something like that pushing hard. And also have basically maybe even debates in English. I mean, English would be the language of choice there.
Well, I thought it'd be German.
No, it'd be English. As much as I like to joke about Germany ruling the European Union, but it's not. It'd be English.
It's too complicated. Things are male, things are female, things are neutral. Who can keep track? The more complicated something is, the more can go wrong. I'm not dissing German. I'm just saying.
I'm just dissing German.
Okay, Queenie, your thoughts on a European president and German being way too complicated?
Well, I think you're bound to have hiccups in the beginning, but hopefully it's something that can sort of come together and work out. I mean, you know, being American, I'm all for the democracy for y'all foreigners.
In the Greenlands of not America?
Do what?
In the Greenlands of not America.
Oh,
Yep.
Vlog Brothers.
The thing is, though, if you combine certain German things with the current British government, you could have David Cameron and Michael Gove in a gas chamber. And who wouldn't want that?
I agree.
Queenie, your thoughts on... Oh no, did I just ask you?
Yeah, I think you did, and I said, Freedom America! Woo!
Yes,
Go,
I am
Keith.
the one.
Your turn, Coach.
Koki doesn't get it.
I would say that a figurehead, maybe pride's not the right word. It would be wrong to say it's a source of pride, but it's certainly a source of identity, even if it's someone you don't like. I mean, think about, like, every American knows who Barack Obama is, love him or hate him. And actually, a good portion of the population outside of America is quite aware of who Barack Obama is. And so, you know, this is sort of what makes America seem easy to consider a polity, you know, to say America wants this, America wants that. You can't really do that with Europe yet. And I do think that, you know, there should be more emphasis placed on the president if we do want to hit an age where we can say, you know, that there is sort of a European way agenda, I guess. And granted, I don't like how we tend to speak of countries as if they were some kind of anthropomorphic entities with desires, but at least, you know, if the end goal is unity, then you know, putting more emphasis on these elections and having this figurehead address the European people, in other words, just be more visible in the media, would probably help with European unity a lot.
Okay, so I'll go around the group again. Fratis?
Hello. I'm going to say good night for everyone. Have a good weekend, and I hope you voted or are voting. And I hope the turnout's great, and we'll see what the future brings us, I guess.
Okay. Gunderson?
I don't know, what are we even talking about at this point?
We may have lost the plot slightly.
I reckon so.
Let's discuss the possibility of Voteman becoming the president of the European Union.
It's
Was that what his name was? The Danish cartoon?
It'd be like Duke Nukem.
Exactly.
That's who he made me think of immediately.
What? What is this?
Don't you know who Duke Nukem is?
No?
Video game character, irrelevant. But yeah, President of Europe, very relevant.
Okay, and Queenie?
Well, it's nice to see some progress if that's what this is, and everybody, I guess, vote.
We will, Queenie, those of us. And indeed. All right then. Okay.
Good night, everybody.
And a good night from Fratis.
I think
good night, everyone.
Off. Oh no, he's still here.
And a good night from Queenie.
Good night.
Perfect soprano. And good night from Koki.
Voteman wishes you well.
Absolutely. And nobody insulted London.
We all forgot.
May London burn.
Your mom's London.
I hope London becomes the new Hiroshima.
Dark. That's dark. Really, really dark.
Wow.
Oh, I've said worse things along that subject before.
Well, as I burn to death and my neighbours and their children melt and become scarred, charred remains of their future selves, and everybody in London for future generations is born mutated with cancer, and yeah, okay, it's been a hell of a week, and good night, YouTube. Good night, everyone.